I normally try and stay away from anything political on this channel, even though it tends to slip out, I find. But I've found someone recently that I'd like to believe is an interesting case study. A woman named Candice Owens. Some people know her better as Red Pill Black, although honestly I think that's kind of a stupid name. Like, I get it, but that doesn't mean I think it's funny. Now, Candice Owens, I don't know her full backstory. I'll admit to that. I've seen a few things on her. But I don't really know the fine details of everything. But in her words, what had happened was she was a hardcore social justice warrior type. And she started this Kickstarter thing for a website that was meant to help with an anti-bullying campaign. That you could argue was actually just a doxing site. Basically, if someone was being a dickhead, you could put some of their information into the system, and people would be able to look up and see if and later someone else could look up and see if that person is a dickhead. Effectively, what she was trying to do, and she was sort of brought out of that and red-pilled, or however you want to say it, because, frankly, everyone she thought was friends with her turned on her for wanting to do that. Which is slightly understandable because, again, arguably a doxing site. And according to them, they said it would ruin everything. I agree with her that brings up an interesting question of what would they be so scared of, since it was an anti-bullying thing, and that's normally the side that's doxing people in my experience, but whatever. I'm attempting to remain neutral here. Now, the reason why I wanted to talk about Candice is because I find her fascinating. In a very strange way. See, she's sort of switched sides and gone on the anti-SJW tirade that a lot of people have been switching to these days. But she still thinks with the whole Tumblr taught social justice stuff in mind. It's still her mindset. And I think that's the main thing causing her so much trouble these days. Or so I'd like to theorize with little information I have. Because I'm not exactly desiring to be an expert on one specific person. That'd be a bit creepy. Now, what was I saying? So, she recently, I don't know if it was like yesterday or the day before, but she recently came out with a video talking about how Halloween is canceled because something about inclusivity, whatever. But the way she went on the tirade about it, I agreed with a lot of she said on principle. That Halloween being canceled because of inclusivity is stupid, because it's a day where you can be whatever you want if you go by modern traditions. However, the way she just went about it bugs me. Because she did the typical tirade of just mocking someone and doing a small, what I think was supposed to be a comedy skit about them being stupid. What really got me, though, was what happened after all that. Because there was a second smaller video sort of attached on the tail end that I don't really understand why it was there or why it needed to be discussed. Where she mentioned how Richard Spencer... God, I hate that I have to actually talk about him. Where she mentioned that Richard Spencer had started some smear campaign against her because apparently even they accused her of wrongthink or some nonsense like that. And she went on a tirade about how that's not going to work, which, you know, and reasonably speaking, smear campaigns shouldn't work. And how, what was it? There was something else. And how, God, sorry for blanking on this. Oh, yeah. And how she's just going to keep doing what she's doing, which most people, I would find that admirable. But the way she went about it bugs me. Because it didn't sound like someone sound like the kind of voice I'm used to hearing from that side, from that part of that side of the aisle. Just that little section of the table. No, it sounded... I was expecting to hear her start talking about trolls and haters, I'll put it that way. And I'm starting to see why she's so divisive, I think is the word? Whatever. Why neither side really seems to like her. Because she seems to almost be accompanying bad aspects from both parts without really contributing anything of her own other than a soft slap in the face to identity politics with conservative black woman. And while I'm all for identity politics getting a slap in the face, she just bugs me. I don't know. What do you guys think?